How are we doing? How's everybody doing today? I'm echoing twice. There we go. Hello, everyone. It's so good to have you with us. I see you, Regina. Good to have you with us today. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Tanya, good to have you. It's our Monday night free astrology readings, free astrology question and answers type of thing for us. I'm glad you're all tuning in. I'm glad you're here. And, there's a lot going on. I'm already feeling the healing coming through today in the Capricorn that I deal with on a day-to-day basis, and that's not Bright Hawk. um, I'm already feeling it. I'm already feeling the healing coming through from Chiron. I know I definitely experienced some Chiron energy today, and I hope it just gets better. Um, I actually have my grandson is a Capricorn and often thinks he shouldn't have to ever clean ever. It's actually a hilarious thing. He's like, 8, and he gets kind of angry when you ask him, and I've been trying to help my son with that. It's hard to handle, without yelling and screaming and all that. So today he was like, I'm gonna tell you the funny part of it. He's like, I should never have to clean. He's a Capricorn. He has like a stellium in Capricorn. And I was like, do you know what happens to people that don't clean? And I showed him a video of a hoarder, one of those hoarding videos. Really bad situation. And he was like, ew. He was grossed out. And I knew he would be because he's a Virgo rising. So it worked. Hi, Chelsea. Hannah's making soap. So you're healing yourself, Hannah, because I think you had some stuff going on in the fifth house, right? So you're accessing your healing too. Hannah's going over to YouTube. Sounds like they can't see the captions. Hi, Chelsea. John said, I'm a Virgo. Can you explain Virgo for me? I absolutely can. I'm a Virgo too. Assuming that your sun is in Virgo. Now, let me just first say that while your birthday determines like your sun sign, that's essentially where the sun was at the time of your birth, right? But that doesn't really speak to your entire chart. That only speaks to one part of you, okay? And so it only speaks to like the biggest part of you, the part that people meet in the first 5 minutes, if that makes sense, John. And so, as a Virgo, people will see you as very grounded and practical, and they'll also see you as very nature. You'll be interested in nature or small animals. And your rising sign will become more important as you get older. Let me just say, you will kind of grow into your rising sign. That's why it's really important to know what time you were born, so that we can take a look at your rising sign. Okay, so your sun sign, while it's really important, the Virgo is very sensitive. It's actually one of the most feminist signs of the entire zodiac. Like if you think about the zodiac, Virgo is the only one represented by a feminine figure. And so even men that are Virgos are typically sensitive to feminist ideas and sensitive to the struggle of being a woman. And also, I notice Virgos are often, we get a bad rep for being anal, but you know what? Like, there's all kinds of bad astrology out there. So just try not to listen to that and just try to recognize that there's some truth to what they're saying, but it's usually sort of like everything else online, it's kind of exaggerated. So we can appear like we're sometimes too much. We can sometimes appear or come across as kind of like we're not that we're anal, but that we like things a certain way. And it is true, Virgos do like things a particular way. Usually it might have something to do maybe with food, or might have something to do with like how their house is set up or something like that. They're just sensitive beings. Virgo in general is a pretty sensitive being. They pretty much do like things a particular way. They're usually very kind and gentle. They're usually the best people to volunteer. They're usually the first one to volunteer. They like to be in service. They like to help people. They like to be in service to people in general. They like to be connected to natural things, pure things. And Virgo typically is also pretty, um, they I don't think Virgo struggles that much with boundaries. I think that there is a little bit, but there's some signs that really struggle with boundaries. But Virgo will hold their boundaries. They often will speak truth or be blunt about things because of where Mercury is our ruling planet as a Virgo. And so sometimes we can be a little like, over communicate, or we can say things that are too much, if that makes sense. Um, all right. Okay. So Sammy says bye, says, I had so many not so great dreams last night. Then I pulled an oracle card this morning for what I should focus on this week. And I got Land of Dreams, assuming the healing will be by way of dreams. It could absolutely, Sammy. Or you're a Cap Moon. Yeah, right now, there is a lot going on in Capricorn. There's actually what we call a stellium in Capricorn. There's like 4 or 5 planets or something in Capricorn. They're all moving through there this week. It will start to come to an end at the end of the week, but right now it's still pretty intense. And Chiron's in a square to all of them, and Chiron is the part that's bringing through the healing. It really depends on where Capricorn is in your chart, what house it's in, where Chiron is in your chart, where Jupiter is, because Jupiter may also have something to do with this, because Jupiter's also in a square to that Capricorn stuff. So all this stuff is at least on your moon. And I don't know what house it's in, but that could speak to your dreams. It could also be speaking to the Neptune transit, which Neptune speaks to your dreams. Neptune is about visionary and dreams, particularly psychic dreams. And Saturn and Neptune are actually in a trine or a sextile, and they're in a minor trine. So this is going to create actually good energy, and help us vision things and see things going forward. So that's actually a really great blessing. And if you're getting this stuff about the land of dreams and where your healing is, I'd say you're right on time and you're right aligned with the astrology. I would be interested to see where your chart is. If you look and see where is Pisces, what piece of the pie is it in? If you get a free chart, I don't know, Sammy, if you have your chart, but you can get a free chart at astro.com, and you can see if you get a Placidus chart, just a plain old regular astrology chart, you're going to want to look and see where Pisces is. What house is it in? What piece of the pie is it in? And then that will tell us a lot about your Neptune. You can also look at where's Capricorn. Well, Pisces is where Neptune is right now. It's right at the end of, it's in the last degree of Pisces. It will be moving out of there in the next week or so. It will be moving into Aries. So it's right on the line of Pisces and Aries, Sammy. Okay? So take a look and let me know what house it's in, and I'll tell you about it. Hi, Alyssa. Good evening. Good evening. How about you, Bright Hawk? Have you noticed the healing of Chiron today? Have you noticed it coming through?
Well, I love your story. I love how the influence that you have in subtle and storytelling ways where you go, here, look at this. And his little head exploding and going, oh my God, cleaning my room is really important. I don't want to look like that. I don't want to end up like that. So that was a very funny story. um, yeah, we'll see how Chiron plays out and working that minor grand trine that's playing out right now. It expect surprises, right? Because Uranus is involved. It's great that Uranus is in a trine and a sextile in the triangle that we're talking about, and then of course we have Saturn and Neptune rocking together, and then of course the other side of this is like, oh my goodness, all that energy in Capricorn. The Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars. Whoa. And then, of course, in Aquarius is Pluto, and Venus joins Pluto on, I believe it's Saturday. Venus moves into Aquarius. And then everyone right behind them is coming right up, right? So the stellium, the parade of those planets is now going to join Pluto. And that's where we all get really big eyebrows. Like, oh, golly, Pluto's all about transformation and change in Aquarius. We're in the age of Aquarius. Whatever happens by the time Pluto leaves Aquarius, the world will not look the same. We know that for a fact. Whew. None of us want to predict much too far into the future, but we can all tell you what a 2026, what a year this will be. Holy moly. So we appreciate you being here and bringing your charts and your questions. That's really helpful. And I loved what you said about Virgo because, of course, I'm a Virgo rising and both grandchildren are Virgo risings. So I keep reminding myself and everyone around them, remember, they're very sensitive, more sensitive than you realize, and they really want to do well. Virgos love to do things well. Like, they're great problem solvers. They're really great at bringing a variety of solutions to the table. And they're really smart and good at it, which is why people sometimes make stories about Virgos because they're very good. I think sometimes people are jealous. So, every sign has its thing and everybody has their story. Great to see the folks showing up. Let's see. Do we have any questions?
Well, I wanted to address Sam real quick because Sammy said that um, their Neptune is at the end of the fourth and start of the fifth. So that means that Neptune is right on that line, Sammy. So it's also speaking to your second house. So I wouldn't be surprised if money was involved somehow, maybe. Because uh I think that's gonna put you let me just oops. I was just looking at my astrology chart here to try and get a feel of exactly. I think you might be a Scorpio rising, Sam. If you're a Scorpio rising, or a Sag rising, one of those two, you got to be one of the two. Um, and okay, so it's on the edge of the fourth and the fifth. So the fourth is parents, your home, family. It's where you live, okay? And the fifth house is fun, children, romantic relationships. And you can see how those might relate with each other, like how home and romantic relationships or kids might all kind of be in the same sort of compartment, right? Um, and depending on things, it looks like maybe Capricorn might be in your third house. Capricorn um would be in your third house, I think. And so that's going to put you at um that's going to put you with all of this energy right now around community, around siblings, communication, anything like that. And I wouldn't be surprised if you, as a Scorp, I'm pretty sure you're a Scorp rising. Um, and as a result, that's going to set you up for a lot of, so I mean, I don't know what your rising is, but I'm about to publish the reels tonight, and you of course can read the newsletter, and it will tell you exactly what that area of your life, if you are a Scorpio rising. So, I'm just saying that, like, this is going to affect a lot of your life because you have a lot going on, right? Okay. So, with the fifth house, that could be romantic relationships. Okay. So, I don't know if you got something going on in that area or what, but, but, that's where you want to be looking at. Okay. So I'm also looking at your Scorpio rising and Capricorn in the second and third house. So wouldn't be surprised if there was something going on around money, maybe, and also around siblings, about community, um, and that sort of thing, as well as other people's money, right? Maybe there's some healing around relationships or your children, or some sort of thing you've created, like some sort of thing that means that has importance to you. So you're actually going through some healing right now, some pretty intense healing, I would say, especially with all that Capricorn in your second house of money and values. It's all about how you spend money, how you get money, and and how you value money, what you would want to spend your money on. So, Sam, I hope that's helpful for you. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, you're a Scorpio rising. Okay. Alyssa, I'm glad you love Virgos because we're both Virgos. Mamoni is the Sagittarius. I'm just gonna say, Mamoni, Uranus is gonna move into your opposite sign this year. So don't be surprised if you have some surprises. Well, you should be surprised because it will be some surprises in 2026. Okay. Um, I'm gonna say, Alyssa, if your world is not lit up now, I can't imagine how that's not happening. If you have a Capricorn stellium and it's not already lit up since last week, I don't know. You must be missing something. Well, Mamoni, if you check in on our weekly broadcast and get your website, or sorry, go to my website and get this, like this little, get 50% off here. It's just a couple bucks. It's like a little beginner's guide. It will show you how to get your chart, and it'll help you understand your sun, moon, and rising. And then you can listen to our weekly broadcast, and that'll help you understand things. And we're always teaching stuff during our broadcast. I'm always helping you. It's really helpful if you have your chart though. So you can save 50% by using that live 50 code there. See that right there, that live 50 code over there. It says live 50, get 50% off your beginner's guide. And you just go to my website, Divine Androgen, and go to the digital shop. And the digital shop will have this beginner's guide. It's just a couple bucks. It's not expensive. It's meant to just help you get started, help you get out of the gate, help you understand how to get your free chart. And so that way, once you got your free chart, you can, so then you can start to really understand. See, Sammy, I'm not surprised that you're working on financial coaching So there you go. There's some healing. So it's isn't it nice though to Sammy to be validated, to know that you're on the right track, that you're doing the right thing. Like I find that astrology half of the time is just validating. Like that's a really powerful thing, right? Yeah. Hey, Preet, you're a Pisces. Whew, you've had a last pretty intense last year and a half, right? Okay. Yeah, I bet. Blake said Virgo rising here. Flatter us some more. um, okay. Alyssa said, I seriously think that I'm so used to things being chaotic and emotional too, that the bigger things that happen seem more subtle. I end up missing something sometimes. Interesting, Alyssa. Interesting. It's been a little bit intense for you too, right? Like I think you've had the North Node or something in your sign, I think. Something like that. I think you have the Sun in Pisces or something, and I know you have also that Capricorn stellium. And I'm just saying, the Capricorn stellium, I mean, unless it's like maybe it's in your 12th house or something, maybe you're not seeing it. I'm gonna look at it real quick. Oh, it's in your fifth, sixth house. Children, romantic relationships, community, Alyssa, day-to-day life, your job, your work in the world. Ooh. And the Grand Cross last week, especially Friday, Saturday, that was probably pretty intense for you, eh? It was right on your Chiron. That had to be intense. And then plus, Chiron is on your Jupiter up in the 10th house. What's going on at work? Coworkers, work. What's going on with what you offer the world? What's happening in that area of your life? Because that's really what's happening right now. There's something there's something about your life. There's something going on in that. Yeah, but Alyssa, if you're disabled and you can't work, what's going on with what you offer the world? Are you feeling some sort of way in that regards? Like are you feeling depressed? Something? You might need to find a way to still put yourself out there somehow. I understand that you're disabled, but there's other things that you can do to help in the world, like volunteer or something. Talk to that medium that I've worked with in the past, Eve. They live with cerebral palsy, and it still gives their life meaning to volunteer at the local LGBTQ center. So, yeah, and Alyssa, I'm betting that right there is what's going on. I honestly don't feel like I offer the world anything really. Maybe the universe is asking you to change that, because just because you're disabled doesn't mean you can't do anything, because that's totally untrue. I've worked with lots of disabled people that do lots of things in the world. Okay. So just maybe consider that. I understand that you don't want to get a job because you would lose your disability and your insurance and you really need that. Totally get it. And I also think there's things you can do. You can volunteer. Um, there's You'll feel better about yourself if you do that sort of thing. Um,
Reminds me of that book you read and turned me on to reading. The doctor who, gosh, she lived to 90 something and talked all about staying connected to your juice, what makes you feel juiced in life. And that energy, and in my experience, serving and helping others in some fashion or another gives you unbelievable juice and gratitude for life, period. So, whatever you're feeling grateful for, find more of that. And the more we grow our gratitude, the better life looks. So, wishing you all the very, very best there.
Absolutely, Alyssa. I totally understand. I'm not asking you to do anything that would put you in danger or anything like that. Um, but I think maybe you just need to find something that's a little bit more fulfilling, particularly if you're noticing that you're feeling a bit of depression. Because like Eve lives with cerebral palsy and doesn't want to work too much because if they make too much money, they lose their all their benefits and they need those benefits living with cerebral palsy, right? But at the same time, they volunteer at the LGBTQ center and that really helps them a lot. So, like, that's an example of someone I would actually suggest maybe talk to them. Maybe they can help you find that. They know astrology and they can totally help you with that. But I think finding what you offer the world is part of this journey that you're having right now. Um, it could actually be making you feel pretty depressed. I wouldn't be surprised if you were feeling depressed or anything like that. And that might be why you're not noticing it. Depression, did you ever notice how, like, when you're depressed, you just kind of, it literally oppresses things? I think that's where the word depression comes from because it just, and depression is often from pushing feelings down under, right? And I feel like a lot of us that suffer with depression at any time, it's from pushing things away or pretending something's not there. And I think that's like the hardest part of it. And sometimes we would like to recognize those things. We would like to acknowledge this or that thing, but we can't always for a variety of reasons. And sometimes we're not really sure how to. Usually for me, Virgos are problem solvers. So usually I just don't have a solution to the problem. So that's usually what depresses me. If I don't have a solution to the problem, that will depress me. That will make me feel hopeless. So, yeah. Yeah, see, you're just not there yet, Alyssa. You'll get there. See, she says, I'm still fighting for disability. Yeah, see, and this grieving process is doing me in. She's just running through all the emotions, but trying to clutch at everything I can give. Spark, just not there yet. You'll get there soon. You're going to get there soon, Alyssa. Don't be surprised if the healing comes through very, very soon. Okay? Like very, very soon. Like, um, well, actually, I wouldn't be surprised if that comes in very, very soon, actually, here, before the summer, this early part of 2026. The money that you're talking about, the disability that you're fighting for, will probably come in here very soon, actually. Believe it or not. I know it seems weird that it would come through, especially with the way things are going in the United States, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. Okay. So, so I'm pretty sure you'll get it at the beginning of this year. So, um, Simran, if you're a Pisces, you got the North Node in Pisces right now. We'll be there for until about this summer, till this summer. Um, There's two eclipses happening, one in February, around mid-February, and another one in mid-August. The solar eclipses are pretty important because the nodes will be changing signs. So we'll be working our way into Aquarius this year. The North Node will be working its way into Aquarius, and the South Node will be working its way into Leo, which actually I feel like could be promising, hopefully. Hopefully, instead of focusing on right now, the North Node is in Pisces, and while that's really important that we focus on our emotions and our spirituality, I feel like the North Node in Aquarius for the next 2.5 years. It will start this summer and go for about 2.5 years. And I really feel like this is going to really point to the power of the people, the power of all the people, the power of community, the power of the collective, the power of um, what it feels like to be part of community. So I'm really sure that that's really where we're headed in the late 2026 and early 2027 and ongoing from there. I really feel like the North Node in Aquarius is really going to light that up, especially since Pluto is there. I think it's really going to change our opinions about community and how we're connected with people. And Uranus will also be moving into Gemini. And I feel like that's also going to make it more and more important for us to have community. I feel like the if you're not in a community now, I would try to find one. I would get myself in a community because astrology is really speaking to that right now. I think it's going to become vital. I think it's actually going to become uh, a survival skill. I think you're going to need community. So let's see. Simran said they were born March 7th of 19. You want to do that one or you want me to do it, Bright Hawk? You want to do it? Hey, Simran, also add what city, if you know what time and what city you were born, add that, and Bright Hawk will put it in her software and bring it up for you and take a look and tell you what your moon sign is and your rising sign and tell you maybe if something be coming into the 6th or the 10th house for you. Yeah, so I feel like there's a lot going on this year. 2026 is going to be a big astrology year, you guys. It looks like Simran was born in Delhi, India, and they were born at 6:10 a.m. Did you know that in India they hold it very serious to know what time people were born? Not all countries do that. Even in the United States, we don't do it in all the states. In India, it's very important. Mostly, I think, partially because Vedic astrology is kind of a big deal there. In India, they use it often to, some families use it to do arranged marriages. They use it to help match up people, match their children with a good match. I think it's an interesting way to do it. I'm not sure. Sometimes I think people aren't ready for certain relationships. And, well, I think they have the best in mind for the people they love. I'm not always sure that it actually works out the way they had hoped, you know? Um, Mine was arranged. Oh, so your family didn't do the astrology of your arranged marriage. Is your marriage going okay though, Simran? Like, are you happy or is it working out? Or I know some do and some don't. Hi, Kiki Law. Oh, you just met him. Okay, that's got to be hard, Simran. I can't even imagine. I wouldn't want my mom anywhere near my relationship, but I come from a different culture, right? I'm American and you're from India and you're living in Australia now. Um, yeah. So Alyssa asked, this is a great question to do while Bright Hawk's doing that chart. What exactly is the difference between Vedic, traditional, Western astrologists, please? Okay, so Vedic astrology is nothing more than a different method. There are lots of different types of astrology. Traditional and Western astrology are usually the same thing, Alyssa. Western astrology, traditional astrology are kind of two different names of the same things. I had recently people have been starting to call astrologers astrologists, which is an interesting shift, but I suppose it doesn't matter. Vedic astrology is an astrology that's very similar to Western astrology, except that some things are very different. The biggest difference that I've noticed in my study of Vedic astrology is that so in American, and I think it was best said, and I'll remember her name, by a really a really great astrologer who I learned death astrology from, because the nodes usually have something to do with a person's death, okay? And the north node, which kind of looks like a horseshoe, right? The north node looks like an N, and the south node looks like a U. And they're always opposite each other. Everybody has it in their chart somewhere, okay? And in Western astrology, we believe the north node, they're also called the nodes of fate. And the north node is pointing to your destiny. And the south node is also talking about what you're letting go of, what the past is, at least in most sort of Western cultures, like Americans in Europe, in the UK, and things like that. That's what most of us believe, okay? So the north node is your destiny. The south node is what is your past, your childhood, your past lives, what you're letting go of, okay? And the north node is your life now, your future lives, and what you're supposed to be reaching, what your destiny or fate in life is. Now, in Vedic astrology, they actually believe the opposite, because in Indian culture, tradition honoring the tradition that you come from is of higher value. So they see the south node as what you are striving to become. And I'll be honest with you, and that the north node is what you're like more like tempted to do, or um it pulls you off, like it's not exactly where you're headed. And it's interesting to me to consider this because, for instance, my south node is in Taurus and my north node is in Scorpio. Okay. And my north node is in my first house of identity and Scorpio, and my Scorpio has Uranus. And so when I think about my destiny as being a non binary spiritual person, ta-da! That totally makes sense, right? Scorpio is spiritual. Uranus on the ascendant speaks to being non-binary. The north node there, that's my destiny, right? Totally makes sense, right? And the south node in Taurus, moving away from the relationships of my childhood, moving away from the relationships of that held me back, that I was too committed to, because sometimes Taurus can be like overcommitted to things, like stay in relationships way too long or something. And then but now also later on in life, now in my 50s, I recognize that at times as a Scorpio, I get frustrated with people and I just cut them off. Just, you don't belong in my world. And sometimes, maybe because of my history, I have spent too much time just cutting people off. And then as a result, I don't have a whole lot of community, right? So I think there's a balance. And pretty much, I always say in astrology, with any opposition, which a south node and a north node would always be in opposition, that balance is best. So I can kind of see the Vedic astrology perspective where I'm staying loyal to people, and because the my south node is in my house of relationships, where I stay loyal to people and not feel so drawn towards the Scorpio part of me. I can definitely see that on a deep level, but I can also see the Western. So here's the thing, is I say that all astrology points to the same place. That's kind of what I believe. Um, all astrology points to the same place. And there's different types. There's also like draconic and horary. There's so many different kinds of astrology. I mean, it's an endless study. You could study you could study different kinds of astrology for a long time. And I think that Vedic is just a slightly different perspective. And when you consider the culture it's coming from, it kind of makes a little bit more sense, particularly if you have any education about the culture. And I do happen to have some education about Indian culture. I'm a yogi. I've been a yogi for a long time. I've been doing yoga for 20 years, about 20 years. And I would say that I've also practiced Vedic astrology, but I've also looked at Indian cooking and Ayurvedic medicine, the herbs that we use in the food, and how they use those herbs for healing. So I know quite a bit about Indian culture, actually. Um, so So did you get Simran's chart, right, Hal?
I did.
Oh, you just go ahead and talk about it. You can share it if you want. I can't unmute you.
Okay. Well, let's take a look. Oops. All
Real
right,
quick,
Sim.
Michelle, you need to put your place and time for me to pull your astrology chart.
So, Simran, I'm sure it's been an intense month because you have so much hitting all your major things in your chart. So, let's start with your sun. Nice thing is your sun is trining your moon trining sun. That's nice. That's a nice conversation. Uh, and sorry, sextiling. They're 60 degrees apart, so there's a sextile, and which again is a nice conversation. It's a good one. You're currently experiencing that big party in Capricorn. Those 4 planets we keep talking about are all passing by and over your moon in Capricorn. So currently, the one conjuncting exact right now is 17 degrees. Your 17 degrees Capricorn moon is Mercury. Mars has already passed over it. So I'm sure that this last weekend probably was fairly intense. Hopefully, you got through it okay. Because, of course, Mars, the Sun, Venus, and an asteroid that we call Pallas Athena have all, or sorry, Vesta. Vesta is related to what we bring into the world, our gifts, projects, children, and and then it and then it's all going to start to dance with Pluto, and you have that same asteroid Vesta in Aquarius. So the whole party that's in Capricorn is now going to be migrating into Aquarius. So you also have placements there. And then I'm noticing, because you can't help but notice, your sun is in the first house. So, it's your first house sun placements are, it's your personality, yourself, your physical body, your being present in the world in a physical way. You also have Jupiter in Pisces in the first house, which is the amplifier of everything. It's also very lucky, very go lucky, happy go lucky. And in addition, we've been talking about Saturn and Neptune right at that Pisces Aries point. And I wonder if you're a really great communicator, because you have Mercury at 1 degree Aries. That the world point is 0 degrees Aries. We have right now Saturn and Neptune sitting. Neptune's at 29 degrees Pisces, about to cross into 0 degrees Aries. And of course, Saturn's right behind it. So lots going on there. Having Venus and Mercury really close together, 4 degrees apart, but right straddling that line with Saturn and Neptune at the same time. So what does that mean? I'll let you figure out what it means, but I'll tell you what the planets mean. So Mercury is all about communication. Mercury is communication, computers. It's very fast. It's um, uh, uh, the ruler of Virgo, the ruler of Gemini. So, and it's all about communication. That's all I can keep thinking is communication. Okay. So that's Mercury. And then of course Venus is all about relationships and what you value. Venus rules Taurus and Libra. So Venus in Pisces, I have to look that up about what that configuration means. Yeah.
Well, Venus is exalted in Pisces.
Venus is exalted in Pisces. Okay.
Unconditional love.
Unconditional love. And of course, you've got right now Saturn and Neptune sitting on top of that. What does that mean? Saturn is father. It's all about Saturn in Pisces has been all about, sandcastles on the beach, right? What are we going to let go of? Because Saturn is structure, but in Pisces, it's structures falling apart. Venus in the first house with Mercury in the first house.
Look, check it out. She said that she's been struggling with her health. So it's probably speaking
the first house.
It has something to do with her hormones.
Right. And then the North Node is on top of all of that, Jupiter and the Sun at Pisces 10 degrees. So North Node sitting between between Simran's Jupiter and Sun. Okay. And then Saturn, Neptune sitting on top of Mercury and Venus. Okay.
So Simran, what I would say about your health, because I do medical astrology, and it sounds like you're struggling with your health and your fitness, is there might be an illusion that you're under. I don't know how old you are, but there might be something about your hormones or your hormone system, like your thyroid or something going on there that I would be paying attention. And since Mercury is there, I would also look at like your gut. And be careful what you say, because you will manifest things by saying them. So don't say, "Oh, you are in perimenopause." I knew it. I knew she had to be in perimenopause because Venus is there in her first house with her sun. It's going to mess with her vitality. Perimenopause has got to be really hard for you. So I'm just going to let you know that that's in your astrology. It's there. It's and I could probably find the healing, but it would probably require a reading. So we could go deeper in a private reading, but that's exactly. So Brighthawk's right to talk about that, all that stuff in the first house, but Brighthawk's not as much into medical astrology. She does a little bit different. Where's her moon? Where's her moon?
11th house.
In what sign?
Capricorn. Everything's on top of their Capricorn,
right now. Ugh,
right? Right?
ouch.
Everything
Oh,
in
Simran,
Capricorn.
our heart goes out to you
It's
right
like,
now.
oh, right. And
The
today
last week
it's
or
Merc.
so has been really hard. Yeah,
Yeah, can't imagine.
yeah. It's got to be really hard for you, Simran. So what I'm gonna say is that there is some healing coming your way. This week should get a little bit better each day. You are finding healing. Yeah, you are going through a lot. Yeah, I bet you are. Yeah. So hang in there, Simran. Hang in there. If you need some help, we can try to help you. Try to do a private reading. You can get that. You can get one of those on my website, okay? You can I do wellness and I help with perimenopause. I'm very well versed. Bright Hawk as my witness.
So that's what this week is all about. Whatever you're working on from a healing perspective, the planet we call the wounded healer, it's called Chiron, is literally squaring everything in Capricorn. So that whole party that's going on, everything there is in a square to Chiron. So it is in your face, whatever it is you're working on and needing to heal. And if you're trying to go, okay, I'm just going to put my head in the sand one more time, it's like, no, you need to deal. And if you have any kind of an inkling about, oh, I should probably have that fill in the blank checked out, whatever it is, do it. Don't ignore your inner wisdom. Don't ignore that little voice of go to the doctor or do whatever it is that you need to do to take care of yourself. This is the time. You are worth it. And ignoring those little nudges, hints, signals. We've all talked about the life of the clue by four, where you just, what? What just happened? Uranus involved means it's a surprise a minute. Uranus is just, Christopher Renstrom always describes Uranus as everybody's gathered around a table. They're totally engrossed in a game they've been playing for 45 minutes, and Uranus comes in and just knocks the board over, and there's no way you can recover. It's like, what? What? Okay, you have our attention. What do you want from me? And if you get still and you sit with yourself, what life is asking of you. What do I need to, and you know what? When it feels stressful, make it real simple for the universe. Please just tell me what the one next right thing is. And you'll know. And you do that. And then you do that again and again. I send lots of love to, especially to the folks who have major Capricorn placements. It's intense, no doubt about it. And and we look at the chart. Aries is involved because Chiron is sitting in Aries. Uranus involved, sitting in Taurus. And of course, we've been talking about Saturn and Neptune at the end of Pisces and Aries. All these things are building. That's part of what 2026 has everybody going, oh my God, what's going to happen? Because these things are world points. Everyone in the world knows shit's changing, stuff's coming, stuff ain't going to be the same. It already is. It already's changed beyond recognition for most of us.
All right. So
Yeah.
I wanted to say, Michelle, Hannah, I probably have your chart. But Michelle, I wanted to ask you what's going on with relationships. What's happening in that department? Like, um, because you definitely, is there something going on with like home, romantic relationships? What happened last week? like Thursday, Friday, Saturday? Was there some intensity? And how's it going this week? Is it getting better? Are you talking? Are you finding you're healing? Are things getting better for you? Um, just gonna say there's a lot of intensity going on for you right now. And I'm sure it has to do with, um, I'm sure last week was probably pretty intense, Michelle. And now this week, hopefully, you're starting to find some healing. So, yep. See, there was some clashes relationship wise. They did shift a lot to stand in my power and make decisions around that. That's exactly what's going on, Michelle. And this week, you'll have to continue to stand in your power. That will be healing this week. That is going on in Aries right now. So, right now, Chiron is in the eighth house. It's asking you to stand up for yourself. It's asking you to heal. Jupiter is on your Chiron as well, retrograde. So you got a lot of transits going on right now. Plus, you have 4 planets in Capricorn, including the Moon. You're a Virgo rising, Michelle. So you are, of course, you're a Scorpio, but you're a Virgo rising, and you're a Capricorn Moon. So those are the three. If you take a look at the right after this, I'm going to start today and tomorrow. I'm going to be releasing the horoscopes for this week, and those are the three you want to listen to, okay? You got a lot of earth energy, Michelle. So you're a fairly grounded person, but I'm just going to say you got a lot of intensity going on this week and you're headed into healing, learning to stand up for yourself. That's great. That's excellent healing, right? Hannah, if you message me, I'll give you your chart. Hannah, I have your chart. I'm looking at it. I can give you a great version of it with absolutely having Chiron in it. Your Chiron is retrograde in Cancer. It's actually Jupiter is pretty much on top of it right now, retrograde. It's asking you to reveal, and this is kind of what I said to you, I think last week when you tuned in. I was telling you that you gotta really work on what's important to you. You're probably going to have to review what feels good to you and what doesn't, what's fun for you and what's not. And regarding friends, what kind of friends do you really want and what kinds of things do you want? What kinds of things do you want in your life? Those kinds of things. Chiron is really speaking to you right now. And make sure you listen to the main broadcast. Bright Hawk and I did a meditation on Chiron, and we did a lot of explaining about Chiron and how it plays. Um, uh, and so, how it plays a role in your life and in your chart and how it comes through. So, Hannah, just so you know, you have Chiron retrograde in Cancer. hmm And so you're probably experiencing a lot right now with your belief systems because Jupiter is transiting right now. Blake said, I forgot where Chiron's at lately. It was stationary on my eighth cusp. Your
It's
eighth
at
house,
22
maybe?
Aries. It's at 22 Aries right now, moving towards the end of Aries. It's going forward. Yeah.
Yeah, so is Aries maybe your eighth house, Blake? Um, okay. Yeah, and Hannah, you probably, yeah, exactly. Hannah said that's right. I remember that. I feel something is telling me to dig deeper. That's right, Hannah. And it is asking you to and Chiron I feel like is a really deep asteroid. It really asks you to speak to your own healing and to who you are, and it speaks to like childhood trauma and unconscious things, and I even think it speaks to like generational trauma and like inherited diseases. I have Chiron in the sixth house, and I think it speaks to the heart condition that I inherited. My grandmother died from, my father died from. Now I live with it. My son lives with it, and both my grandchildren. I think and Chiron just really speaks to those things. And I was actually working with Kira Sutherland, and she was doing some research. I'm not sure what she ended with, but she was actually researching whether Chiron showed up as physical inherited diseases. And I agreed with her that I thought it did, and I gave her my story as a bit of sort of input. Also, my Chiron is in a square to my sun, and the sun speaks to your heart. So the sun will represent your heart in medical astrology. And if your sun is what we call afflicted, meaning it's not in a great sign, or it's in a square or opposing another sign, and sometimes that means that you could develop a heart condition later in life. It doesn't mean it will kill you. It just means that you might have some heart things later in life. Um, Alyssa said, what else besides community can the 11th house represent? Um, it's more like it's actually less about community and more about individual friends, coworkers, people that people that influence you, your coworkers. Uh I guess it could kind of mean community, but it also means like things that you hope and wish for, social networks, long-term goals, your aspirations, like think about that. It can also
Because
because
of
of the
this.
social part of it, it can bring in like stuff about like humanitarian efforts and societal impact, and social connections, like that kind of thing, including like political movements and things that are for the greater good. So that's kind of like Aquarius. I'm pretty sure Aquarius rules the 11th house, and I think that's why. So if you think about Aquarius, uh I'm pretty sure Aquarius rules the 11th house. Yeah. So, I'm pretty sure. I'll look. But yeah, so it's kind of all of those kinds of things. All of those kinds of things. All right. I lost my here it is.
Hopefully, you weren't frozen for everybody, but I could hear you. Chiron in Aries, 22 degrees, is exactly on top of my Jupiter in the natal chart. Oof. Amplifier in the 12th. What does that mean? Well, the 12th house is, I know all about it because I have a stellium in the 12th. It can be the house of our undoing, self sabotage. It can be the house of institutions. It can be the house of um, the occult, people who work with death, institutions, nursing homes. It's no surprise that Hollis and I both have Pluto, I think, in the 12th. We work with,
Mhm.
nursing homes. Um, the 12th is also can be, I'm missing something. You want to add something?
Psychic abilities. It's
Like
everything
ability
unseen.
unseen.
So it's everything unseen. So when you think about the 12th house, just remember it's unseen. So that means like spirit guides, spirituality, psychic abilities, communities that are unseen, including like the LGBTQ community, the dying community, the elderly, mentally ill people, those kinds of things. Those are all 12th house things. And so Chiron, I don't know if it's retrograde or not, but essentially speaks to the wounds that you receive, but also the wounds that will heal you, Chelsea. So these are the things that will heal you and the things that will hurt. And so actually those two things will actually change things for you, okay? And Hannah, I'm glad the captions kept going. Alyssa said, my Chiron is in Gemini with my moon. Whew. So that's about emotions and maybe the both sides of your emotions. It's in the 11th house. So maybe you have aspirations that kind of change and have two faces, and I would definitely speak to more of community and how you can support the greater good of things. Um, and I think in Gemini, you're also about to have Uranus there. So you're probably going to have some big surprises coming up this year, Alyssa, because Uranus is about to go into Gemini and stay there for like the next, I think it's like 9 years or something. June said natal Chiron in Aries. Okay. 10th house. Yeah, so June, you're probably having a Chiron returns right now. You must be over 40. Um, and I am also having a Chiron returns. So in the 10th house, it's probably speaking to your career, your job, and everything that means for you and how it impacts you and anything that Chiron is in a conversation with, any aspects that it's communicating with will also speak to what's going on for you. But you're in a Chiron returns. It's a very intense time, usually in your late 40s and into 50 is your Chiron return. So it's not always very easy. I can try to help you with that if you need a private reading. It's definitely probably has something to do with like what you put out in the world, what you do, work. What you put out in the world will be very important right now. Um, all right. I'll see you. Good night, Hannah. It's good to have you with us. Good evening, Shay. I'm glad you're here, although it is the end. And so I invite you anyone to book with me at Divine Androgen. And you can also book with Brighthawk or me at psychicinsights.life. You can book an astrology reading with either one of us. You can also check out our free forecast on YouTube. Make sure you check that out on our YouTube page. It's also posted on this Facebook page. If you just go back yesterday, I made the post along with a newsletter on my Substack. You should definitely follow that if you're a Substack user. And I'll be releasing the horoscopes in Reels tonight and tomorrow. So be looking out for those. Catch your sun, moon, and rising horoscopes. This will really help you hone in how your week's going to go, how the rest of your week's going to go. But I can tell you that you'll be experiencing health. It will just depend on where in your life it will be. And that's what those horoscopes are for. They help you figure out where things will be landing for you. All right. So I hope you all have a beautiful evening, a beautiful night. It's my pleasure to help all of you. I hope that you've enjoyed this, and I hope you catch us next week at the same time, about 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And we look forward to seeing you then. And we hope that you have a beautiful week. Find the healing and just know that this weekend is going to be chill. It's going to be chill, friends. Go relax. We need it.
Have a beautiful new moon on Sunday. Make beautiful intentions. It's a good time to new moons are always great times to make great intentions. And many blessings. Thanks for listening to Rainbow Soul Astrology, where we try to be a bridge between you and the stars. Have a great week, everybody.